speaking of misogynists and theocrats, let's go to the non-Pope of the Jews, almost the Pope of the Catholics. He's the Pope of everybody. That is Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. It's like it's all theocracy over there. But here is Walsh, realizing like, well, his transphobia beat may be getting, losing its steam. So let's dive into. Here he is going to be talking about Joe Biden's the discovery by Joe Biden's lawyers that he had up to 10 classified documents in his offices of his former think tank or whatever institute it was. It was the lawyers who contacted the archivists. They weren't aware that they were extant and arranged to have them delivered to the archives. Remember, the difference between that and Donald Trump's stealing of documents, and I say stealing because he was asked for them back. He refused for months and months and months, then gave some back, pretending that he was giving them all back, then refused for months to bring the back ones that the archivist knew that he had, and then they were raided and those documents were retrieved. As if there's no difference between those two things. Well, here's Matt Walsh explaining why he knows there's no difference, but it doesn't matter.
It puts the left in a position, and it puts us in a position too. But the position that we're in, it's their fault. Because, and this kind of thing happens a lot, where you read this story and you think, well, like, in reality, right, who cares? I don't actually care that he had the documents. It just means nothing to me at all. It doesn't matter. I'm sure it's not a big deal, okay? I'm sure that there was not anything sinister or nefarious going on. They're just 10 documents, whatever, who cares? That's my reaction. That's my gut initial reaction. Objectively, analyzing the situation.
Pause it. I would imagine also went into that is that it was actually the Biden people who informed the government that they had them, and the Biden people returned them immediately. And had Donald Trump done this, not even found them himself and returned them, had he returned them when the archivists asked for them, literally years ago, well, I don't know if we would have ever heard the story. I mean, Donald Trump's chief financial officer just got 6 months in jail today. We barely mentioned it. Rudy Giuliani, his lawyer, is being like, I just completely skimmed over the special counsel that's interviewing him because of what they did with the money they raised to stop the steal. Like, the number of stories that we don't even pay attention to with Donald Trump because they don't reach a certain level of either criminality or just disgustingness on a daily basis. I can't even count.
Yeah. It's the context that informs his reaction to the story, not like a gut feel about what happened. The context is that, as you say, right?
Trump refused to give the documents back and then lied about giving the documents back and then signed affidavits. His lawyers did that they had given the documents back when they clearly had not. That's the big deal. That it went on for months and months and months. That might be informing Matt Walsh, but maybe he doesn't know.
Or who cares? That's my reaction. That's my gut initial reaction. Objectively, analyzing the situation from what we've been told so far, that's what I would say about it. Now, we don't know. There's still a lot of information we don't have. So maybe there's something more serious going on here. I tend to doubt it. So that's my objective, immediate reaction. But that's not the grace that the left gives to Republicans and conservatives in the same situation. Okay, they are the ones who have set the precedent here.
Tell the grace about Hillary's emails.
So while I will say that I don't think this matters and I don't personally care, I'm all about, as you know, holding the left to their own standards, which is not a double standard for me because it's not my standard. I'm saying that you should have to reap what you sow. You should be held to your own standards. That's the exact opposite of a double standard for me. That is my standard. You have your standards. You have your, you set the precedent based on your own behavior and your own words, and you should be stuck with that. Okay, it's your medicine you're trying to give everybody else, and now you got to take a dose of it. Which means that in this case, even if objectively, who cares? Our reaction has to be, well, let's got to call for investigations. We need to think about impeachment. This is like, we have to treat it like a crisis. Because that's what the left did.
You know what? That's an interesting standard that he's of course, he's ignoring the actual stories in trying to create some, false equivalence there. But to be fair, that would mean that he's basically, when he operates, he's using his own standards and is going to hold people to that. Will you pull up the clip where Walsh goes deep dive into the allegations against Matt Schlapp from a Republican? Because we know how disgusted Matt Walsh is by gay people. And will you pull up that clip?
Can't find it.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe it doesn't exist. That was Matt Walsh's performance piece of
That's not gonna fly.
How do I
Like, that's not gonna work then. You have to actually believe in it, I think. Like, you can't be like, hey guys, this is all bullshit, but let's pretend this is real for the sake of like what's gonna help the Republicans. Like, that's not how you propagandize people.
Walsh is just not animated unless it has something to do with like some creepy sexuality.
Right.
Yep.
Like if he can't be a sex pest about it,
That's exactly
then,
the point.
Then it really doesn't do anything. For him.
Him having to like comment on more regular standard Republican news talking points like, oh, the left's so
Yeah.
hypocritical. You see how incredibly untalented he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Matt Walsh's way of saying, like, I'm really bummed out that Ben Shapiro beat me to the whole M&M's story, because I had 35 minutes on that.
There's not even a trans event I can loiter outside of on this story. Is this even politics?
But there is your Matt Walsh moment for the day.
Just mailing it in.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll take lunch now.
Right. If
This
he's
is
not
all- I'm
not
serious.
like darkly titillated by something, he really has no passion about anything.